Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with another episode of Kicking Aces here in World of Tanks, and today I am in the A-43. This is a Russian Tier 6 medium tank, and it's a lot of fun. You may have seen it before on the channel, and I had to dust it off because I did finish the grind for this tank, but right now we have the Earn Op going on for the Bogatyr, another Russian tank, and this one is all about damage. And when it comes to doing damage, I really like to turn to my medium tanks. It just provides me an opportunity to switch flanks, to attack aggressively when our team is winning, so I can clean up some damage, and to maybe break through the enemy lines and find either some singled out tanks or the artillery on the enemy team when we're getting routed. And so it just leads to more results with high damage than my other types of tanks that I play. So we're using this medium tank. It has a very rapid firing gun. It is very mobile. I call it the Russian Cromwell. If you like the Cromwell, I think you will really like the A-43. So we're here on Pacific Island. We have the north spawn, and I've kind of pushed down the west coast with the bulk of my team, and we're trying to win this flank before we can sweep into the enemy base and then hopefully have some flanking opportunities on the remaining enemy tanks. But there is some pretty stiff resistance down here dug in on the corner. There's at least 3 heavy tanks, and wow, did you see that shot? It bounced off of the barrel of the gun of my ally there as I was trying to take a shot at that KV-1. Thankfully my second shot does fly true and also sets it on fire, so we get a little extra damage in there. So now I'm firing at the T-14. That's an American heavy tank. It's a premium tank. It is pretty well armored for Tier 5, and the normal rounds can struggle a little bit on this tank to pen harder targets. So I have switched over to the premium rounds, and we're using them to go through the front of this KV-1 here. And I was aiming at the middle plate on the front there. It's the least angled surface of the KV-1 with the best chance of going through. So we put in a couple shots there. We're up to quite a bit of damage thanks to the fire. And we're doing pretty well here. Scores are up. We're winning. We do a nice flank around the T-14 here. He takes out my ally, but we're able to put one in and finish him off for our first kill of the game. And now we've broken through, and I'm looking for enemy tanks to kind of sweep into the base here and clean up. But look at that mini-map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 enemy tanks are back here near our base. So I decide I need to come back and try to defend. So first we're shooting at the ARL-44. That's a French heavy tank. We did get, I think, 1 shot in there, but it might have only been a tracking shot, and then the tank gets finished off by our allies. And so the enemy team pushed in bulk up the east flank. We pushed in bulk down the west. Everybody won their flank that they pushed on, and now we have pretty even numbers here facing off for a showdown. The problem is the enemy tanks are all clustered together, and we're a little bit spread out. Their heavy tanks are all well bunched and they're supported, and our heavy tanks are way at the back of the map now, far away from this fight, and the enemy at any time could just push into the cap circle, start capping, and either win out or force some of us to attack early, and we wouldn't be able to go at them in bulk. So I'm trying to do what I can here. I still have full health, and I see a T-34-85. That's a Russian medium tank. That's the other Tier 6 Russian medium, as opposed to the A-43, and I'm able to get a couple of shots in, and now I have his side. So my reload is faster. I'm a little bit more mobile than him. So once I was able to get a little bit of mobility going there, I was able to take advantage and remove that enemy. And now we've got the capper. It's a Chaffee Tier 5. We put in a couple of shots, a nice little ram. There aren't a lot of tanks you want to ram in this, but a nice light ram there. With a couple of shots going in ahead of time to finish it off quickly, that worked out just fine. So now we're down a tank, and I'm coming up behind the enemy here, and this is a great position. There's an archer that we were able to take out with 1 shot. Now I've got both of these tanks in front of me. They're looking the other way, so I'm parked in right behind the ARL-44, and I'm just pumping rounds into the rear, and I was trying to use the wreck of the other enemy to keep the Churchill from firing at me, but he's busy, so we're able to keep going around the ARL-44, take him out, and now we're going for the Churchill. We track him, and now we're going for a fire. We're shooting at the engine deck. We put 1 in. He's turning his turret. It's not going to be fast enough to get another one. That is our 6th kill, and Crap, it's 2-on-2, and the two that are left are both heavies, and they're in a platoon, and I've got almost no health. I need to get out of here, so I'm going to try to retreat, get down, regroup, and oh no, he snapped a shot into my tracks, retracts me, and I am stuck. I cannot move, and these tanks are hauled down. They're very heavily armored. There's nothing that I can do against those two tanks. And unfortunately, I get taken out. So now it's just left up to our Churchill 3, another premium tank, well armored, but doesn't quite have the penetration. And you can see here, it is just an act of frustration to be firing at one of these Bogatyrs. They are KV-220-2s. They're extremely heavily armored. You do want to aim for the turret. That is the weak point here, and I don't know if our ally is aware of the weak point or if he's just struggling. It is 2-on-1, and they were peppering shots at him very, very quickly. So that was a tough situation, and he gets taken out. So despite a great individual performance, it was not quite enough at the end there. I was really hoping I would be able to break off the engagement, regroup. So hopefully I'd be able to use my ally to get their attention, and then I could come in from a side angle, use my mobility to try and find some weak spots in the armor of those enemy tanks. But a crazy good shot there by the Bogatyr to take my tracks off as I was trying to retreat, and we were stuck, pinned in place, and nothing that we could do at that point. So looking quickly at the post-game stats, we can see that we did just shy of 2,500 damage. Really good for a tier 6 medium tank. Good enough for an ace tanker. That's with our 6 kills. We actually blocked almost 700 points of damage. Not a common occurrence in the A-43. It's not a very well armored tank, but I think we were able to use mobility and create some odd angles as we were approaching our enemies and get them to bounce some shots off us. So we'll take a quick look at the team statistics, and we can see that our damage there was really, really good, standing out far and above everybody else in the game. We can see the platooned pair on the enemy team there, the KV-1 and the Bogatyr at the top of their team list. Hats off to them for a great game. Unfortunately, not quite enough to overcome it on our end there, but still a really nice individual performance, and these are fun to have too. Even if we don't always get the win, we can see that we fired 33 shots, 27 of those hit, and 22 of them penetrated. That's a pretty standard game for the A-43. Moving, firing on the move, you're going to miss. Firing at heavily armored targets like the heavies, like the KVs, you're going to have some bounces. So that was a pretty standard game. That's what you can expect in this tank. And of course, that resulted in almost 3,000 combined damage in terms of the damage we did, plus the little bit of assistance damage, and that turned into a really nice game. We did have to fire most of our premium rounds, maybe not had to, but ended up doing it in that high-stressed situation where we had a number of enemy tanks we were trying to take out very quickly. So I did blow through the premium ammo pretty quick, and still we turned a nice little profit there as well in this tank. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Just a fun one today. If you did, please feel free to like, and as always, you can subscribe to Meat City Gaming for future World of Tanks console content. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.